Oh, it's finally here. Yes, Dragon Quest III, the HD-2D Remake has finally arrived, and I've been playing it for a few days now. I'm about 7 hours into the game, and I want to just give you some of my first impressions of it, because this is like getting hit with a wave of nostalgia. As I've said here on the channel, Dragon Quest, one of my favorite series of all time. The first Dragon Quest was the game that just blew me away and introduced me, of course, to JRPGs and changed my life. Dragon Quest II was the game that I stayed home from school and went up into my parents' attic when I knew I was getting it for Christmas, and I pretended that I was sick, and I sat in the attic and I just read the Dragon Warrior 2 manual cover to cover, and I couldn't wait for Christmas Day. So these games mean a lot to me, and I was thrilled that they were doing this remake with this new fresh coat of paint, if you will. So big thanks to Square Enix for sending over to me the special edition. They sent a whole kit here with the PS5 version of the game, and this special box that you can hold it in and put it up on a bookshelf so it protects it. Also, these really cool little standees as well. You can see here with this whole sort of diorama look to it. So thank you so much for Square Enix for sending this over. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, first impressions time. Like I said, I've been playing it for about 7 hours, and I should say that the box arrived during a big snowstorm here, and the kids were at a swim meet, and I was home. I had some work to do, so I did some work in the morning, and then the doorbell rang, and the box arrived. And it was snowing outside, and I just got under a blanket in my games room, and I fired it up, and it was just unbelievable just to be here by myself. When that music hits for the first time, it was like a wave of nostalgia hit me in the face. Oh, it just took me right back to my parents' house, you know, in the late 1980s. It was just so joyous. So I'm thrilled about that. So let's just start with one of the first things you notice when you play this game. Visually, this game is nothing short of a masterpiece. It looks beautiful. If you're familiar, of course, with Square Enix's HD-2D style, games like Octopath Traveler, of course, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. The pixel art has this gorgeous depth, and the lighting, oh my gosh, the lighting, it almost makes you feel like you're looking at a diorama almost. It's just gorgeous how they pulled this off. The towns feel cozy, but it's not overbearing to the original game. Like the core feeling of the original game is here, right? That original Dragon Quest feeling is all here, from the sound effects to the menu screens. But it's not overbearing. You don't feel like you're playing a totally different game. It's like Dragon Quest, but like with a fresh coat of paint, and it just feels fantastic. It's lively, it's cozy, the dungeons are mysterious and eerie, and the overworld looks absolutely stunning. The water effects, I mean, just looking at the rippling water in the background, or as you're walking through these little towns at night holding a lantern, and the light is reflecting off the buildings. And yes, it has the beautiful upgrades that you would want from a classic JRPG, but there's this nice modern polish to it that is really respectful, I think, to the original, while inviting in a whole new generation of players. For instance, I'm playing it on the PS5. It looks great. My daughter, I showed it to her, and she's excited. She's never played a Dragon Quest game. She's 12 years old, and she says that she wants this for Christmas. So I'm going to get it for her on her Nintendo Switch, and she thinks it looks beautiful. And so she's going to play this on her Nintendo Switch on that little OLED screen, and it's going to look gorgeous there as well. So again, I think this is going to invite in a whole new generation of players that will want to play this game for the very first time. Right off the bat, you get to choose either character A or character B. I know, but one is definitely masculine. Can we just say it's a man, for crying out loud? And then the other one is definitely a female. Can we say it's a woman, for crying out loud? But no, it's type A and B, because, you know, it's 2024. But it does ask you, do you want to be a hero or do you want to be a heroine? And even my daughter, when she saw it, she said, oh, I can play as a girl. So for her to not have to play as a male warrior, she's excited. She wants to play as a female warrior when she gets the game, and that's going to be appealing for her, which is great. And even there's a menu option at the beginning that discusses whether or not would you want to be brought back as a prince or a princess. And yes, there's some controversy, of course, about the character designs and how in the West, because of the ESRB, I guess in the West, we're not allowed to see women as beautiful. Like in the West, if women apparently show a little too much skin, then the ESRB gets really upset and wants to slap a mature rating on it. And of course, Yuji Horii and the game developers have said this is a big problem in the West. I don't understand why the West needs to like censor our character design. So they have to put a little bit more clothes on the characters so they don't get a mature rating in the West. Come on. Really? Anyway, that's why Japan is so awesome. Anyway, ridiculous, I know, but that's a whole side story. I'm not going to delve too deeply into that, but I do want to point out of that, the censorship of the character designs for the female characters here. But anyway, let's move past that, because let's just talk about first impressions and let's just talk about the gameplay. Next up was the music. Oh my gosh, absolutely love the music. It is phenomenal. They took those classic tunes we know and love, then breathed a whole bit of new life into them. Full orchestral sounds. I was even playing with my headphones on at one point. I thought, wow, this is just so immersive and beautiful. And of course, you may want to go back to that simpler sound, and that's fine. I love the new orchestral sounds here. I think they just did a beautifully rich environment, adds so much to the environment, whether you're simply sort of wandering through the forest or facing off against a big boss. The way that they've really kept the original themes intact while giving them this sort of grand, polished upgrade keeps the nostalgia intact for me, but it also somehow makes it feel more epic. Almost every area, it feels epic. The sounds feel epic. It doesn't feel like just like a throwaway score. I feel like I could be watching a movie. The music is that good. Another one of my first impressions, it just brought me back to that simplicity that I loved about Dragon Quest. You play a lot of modern JRPGs and they can be great, right? You play Xenoblade Chronicles, absolutely love Xenoblade Chronicles, but the menu system can feel overwhelming. Like, what do I do with all these crafts? What do I do with all these gemstones? How do I put all of this together? What? Dragon Quest always had this like simplicity for me, and that's true here as well. And I think it's going to be accessible for people who want to dive into sort of turn-based JRPG combat and try it for the first time. I think this could open the genre up to a whole new crop of people, just like it did me. When I played Dragon Quest for the first time, I thought it was great. My sword is pretty. I have a wooden sword. I'm going to upgrade to the copper sword. I'm going to upgrade to the, and it's very simple. I don't need 80 different options here, and that is really beautifully here designed in this menu system in Dragon Quest III with my team. I've got 4 people. I can also rotate in these team members if I want to, other team members, but I've chosen my core 4 individuals. I'm going to try to level those guys up, make sure that they have different headgear, different accessories, make sure their shields and swords are up to snuff and their armor is good. And as you pick up and find different armor throughout the game, go into your menu settings and I'm able to upgrade those guys. I'm telling you, sometimes in JRPGs, the menus are just so complicated. There's definitely been times, and maybe that's just me being an idiot, where I've played JRPGs and for the longest time, I thought I had something equipped, but the menu system just didn't show me that it was equipped, or I didn't tell that it was equipped. And so I've been going along thinking that I had this armor equipped for the last like 5 or 6 levels, and I didn't, because visually it didn't show me it that well. And I can blame it on myself. I can be a bit of an idiot, but I could also just blame it on the game design. Like, just show me a nice little E right next to it that says equipped. Then I know it's equipped. It's not that difficult. Anyway, that's just my feeling about Dragon Quest. I just like the simplicity of it, and I think that's all right here. It's really enjoyable. Another first impression is the quality of life improvements, right? This is a remake, so is it brought up to sort of modern standards? Absolutely. And it allows you to move forward quickly in the battles. You can change the difficulty settings if you want. So you want to play on easy mode, you can. You'll never die. I'm playing on standard mode, the way that I played it back in the day. So that you can do all that. Of course, you can speed up all sorts of different areas in the game. You can fast travel by moving more quickly, like running, by holding down the button and running across the map. So again, you're going to get all of these little life improvements with faster battles, sprinting across the map. It's a true love letter to the fans, but it's also, I think, fantastic for new players who are used to a little bit faster pace of a game, I think that's where we are in 2024, is just a little bit faster pacing. Otherwise, people just tune out real quick and then they won't come back to the game. And I don't want that. I want them to play this game and beat it. So, I mean, whether you're a longtime fan like me, or maybe you're new to this series for the very first time, I really think that this is a great entry point. To me, it's absolutely worth your time. It's up on my list right now, 7 hours in for one of my games of the year so far. And What I love too is, like, you know, with this special edition, I love the idea of having Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 in this sort of like book form on my shelf, to have all of these classic games right here, remade in this beautiful HD 2D format. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to Dragon Quest 1 and 2 when those come out as well in the series. So those are my first impressions of Dragon Quest 3. Super excited to play this. I'm really thankful that I got to sit on a snowy day and dive into this game, and I cannot put it down. I've just been playing it every day since then. So let me know your thoughts on this. Are you guys going to pick up Dragon Quest 3? Is it on a Christmas list for anybody in your family? Did you ever play the original? What are your thoughts on the original Dragon Warrior series? The games that changed my life? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.